Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you. You're watching another episode of Encounter. Today, in the studios of the NBC, we have the head for the district of the Southern Africa for Toastmasters. He's also the CEO. His name is Njabulo Thela. Njabulo, a very warm welcome to you. You've come all the way from South Africa.
Yes, thank you so much, Roshan. It's so great to be here.
And professionally, you're also the head of learning and development at one of the top 4 banks in South Africa, which is Nedbank.
Yes, the Green Bank.
Yes. So today you're here because we want to speak about, you're very much involved in Toastmasters. You're the CEO for the Southern Africa region.
Yes.
And Mauritius is part of that district.
Correct.
Well, Mauritius has been recently added to that district.
Yes.
So that's great news, and it's also one of the reasons why you're in Mauritius at the moment.
Yes. We thought it would be great to just come and celebrate, given that it's such a huge milestone. The main reason really, or big difference between being district head and non-district head is district head clubs can be part of the World Championship of Public Speaking, which is an annual speaking event. And winning that title is obviously very affirming, as only the best of the best win it. So now that Mauritius is part of Southern Africa Toastmasters, and it was a long journey to get there, it's a huge milestone, and it was important for us to be able to come and celebrate with our members and really just share the experience with them.
So can we say that probably the next winner could be from Mauritius? The world champion could be a Mauritian?
You know, given the quality of the speeches, some of the clubs just recently started, but my goodness me, the way they articulate themselves, I'm super proud. So I believe we'll definitely have a World Championship of Public Speaking coming from Mauritius one of these days. And I think it's much sooner than we actually think.
And I think you did mention that the current world champion is from Southern Africa.
You know how the universe works, right? The year that Mauritius becomes part of Southern Africa Toastmasters is the year that we win the Championship of Public Speaking. For the first time, the title coming to South Africa. So I don't think that's a coincidence.
Delicious Mauritius. It is a sign.
It's absolutely a sign of things to come. So I'm super excited about that. I think it's a good omen.
Fantastic. So probably the viewers at home watching us are wondering, why are we talking about Toastmasters on Encounter today? Well, the reason being is because Toastmasters is a group that they meet regularly so that you can improve your communication skills. Yes. So what we're going to tackle in Encounter today is how the improvement of your communication skills is how you receive information and how you give information improves your leadership in all spheres of your life. So we are taking a philosophical approach to what Toastmaster does in your life. I just want to go back a little bit. For a CEO, you seem very young. How long have you been a Toastmaster?
So I've had accelerated growth. I've been a Toastmaster for 7 years, and I know people that have been Toastmasters for over 30 years. So it was definitely an intentional journey in terms of investing in myself and growing. And I think the CEO was a byproduct of the work that I've been putting in, wanting to really grow and be the best version of myself. So it's not a typical journey, it's an uncommon one, but I'm grateful to be living the journey.
I can't wait to hear the journey. So how did it start? Did someone introduce Toastmasters to you, or was it something you wanted to do and then you reached out?
A very interesting story. So I used to work for one of the big 4 firms in South Africa. I'm happy to share KPMG. So at KPMG, we have these tea areas, and often because it's a highly stressful role, we used to just be able to have coffee or tea. And this guy told me, Njabulo, join Toastmasters, it will change your life. At that time, I felt my life does not need to be changed.
But why did he tell you that? Did you have were you good at communication for you to join Toastmasters? Did you have the skills or certain set of skills that would have people say, hey, you know, I think you have a certain quality that you probably need to develop going forward?
So it's a very good question because there are 2 types of people. One that are petrified in public speaking. They can't stand the sight of talking in front of people.
Yes.
Their knees shake, their mouth dries, they start sweating profusely. And there are those that are just great orators. The moment they open their mouth and just everybody listens, they've got the world at the palm of their hand. But I wasn't either of them. I probably was in the middle. I was comfortable with communicating. I really, if I had to, I'm still reluctant in public speaking, but if I have to, I could hold my own. And I really still don't know why Zibu, the guy who invited me, said, come to Toastmasters, it will change your life. But he was so persistent that I eventually went to Toastmasters. And it wasn't public speaking for me that made me join, actually. It was just the community. So Toastmasters, because everybody who joins wants to grow. So
100%.
surrounding yourself with people that want to develop themselves. So that's what attracted me to Toastmasters. The first thing I learned was that I was a chronic ammer. So that's when you use crutch words like
Okay.
you know, and I did not realize that. So the first meeting I attended, I had like a record number of arms. And that's when I realized, okay, I might be a decent public speaker, but I probably could use some improvement. But I was sold given the community of people and just the power of how if you improve that skill, it can unlock the other parts. The part that really was a game changer for me was the leadership aspect of the Toastmasters communication.
We will come
journey.
on that very shortly. What I want to ask you is, I've myself attended a few classes of Toastmasters, and whenever you go for the first time and you see one of the experienced speakers at work,
Yes,
I wouldn't say at work, in action,
yes,
or you would see how a newcomer is starting to deliver a speech,
yes,
and the critique that comes with it, when I would say critique is positive criticism,
yes, yes.
and how everything comes with a structure. When you see these things on your first meeting for a Toastmaster, it's super impressive.
Yeah.
Because
Sure.
then you come to terms that you thought you were a good speaker,
Yeah.
but then there are quite a few things that are missing that gives your speech a much better structure, but also it's more pleasant how you present yourself,
Correct.
and it improves also how you perceive information.
Yes, yes. And one of the things that we actually don't speak about is the ability to learn active listening as a skill that you learn at Toastmasters. Because think about it. If somebody is presenting a speech and you need to give them feedback, you need to be able to listen so that you are able to give them good developmental feedback. So the ability to actively listen, and in the society we live in where we're bombarded with information, being able to be present in the moment and actively listening to a person who's speaking is an important thing. So whether you are starting out your journey and you are that person who's petrified about speaking, or you're somewhat in the middle and want to be the best you can be, everyone can benefit from the Toastmasters program. And that's the beauty of it. We're all at different levels. And wherever you are on your journey, you can start and you can get the improvement. And you feel like you're at home and it's relaxed. It's not like you're criticized. You feel, oh, okay, I'm enjoying this feedback that I'm
You
getting.
find a path where, all right, there's also an improvement for me there that I can use, and it helps me. And this leads me to the leadership part. I have another question before we go there. So you did mention that there are 12 countries in the Southern African region for Toastmasters.
Yes.
Yes. And in Mauritius also we have a few clubs,
Yes.
and it's open. Anyone can join. There are no age restrictions. But I think it's all English based, right? It's English speaking.
It is English speaking mainly, but we do have a bilingual club, so
Okay.
a French and English speaking club. And we also are working, the 20th club that we're working on is a Chinese English club. So I think there's a lot of development that's happening. I had a brilliant idea, somebody who said there's an indigenous language that they're wanting to develop, and they found people that are well versed in that language and they've studied it. So it's one way of bringing it back to life, because not a lot of people speak it, but apparently here in Mauritius,
There's
it's
quite a
well
few.
spoken.
Anyways, at the end of the day, language should not be a barrier for communication, right?
I mean, communication is communication. Whatever
Yes.
language is just a conduit that you use to communicate. So we do have multiple languages that a person can express themselves in.
Njabulo, leadership.
Yes.
You mentioned you were working for KPMG before. You were in accounting.
Yes.
When you discovered Toastmasters, I introduced you as someone head of learning and development at a bank. How do you jump from accounting to banking?
It's a very interesting one. I was actually in IT.
Is it because of Toastmasters?
It's absolutely because of Toastmasters. So I'm an introvert, and I'm the person who, unless I'm asked, I won't say anything.
Welcome to the club.
Thank you. So I would sit at meetings, at project meetings, I would see red flags, but I would not be able to articulate that to the team. I would sometimes even text my team members that are in the meeting with me to share my point.
Okay.
Or I would keep quiet and at the end of the meeting write this long email to the project manager to say, hey, here are the challenges that I'm seeing. And
But these things should have been said during the meeting.
I know, right? I just could not raise my hand to say anything because I was shy and I did not want to have the spotlight on me and everybody looking at me. So I'd rather type and send that to the project manager. Sometimes I'm the project manager and we have a program that you're running and somebody along the value chain, I can see that things are wrong and I would not be able to articulate that. So that was my problem.
That's doing double the work at the end of the day because you're in a meeting where you're supposed to share your ideas, but you were not able to put it out there.
Because fear crippled me. It literally crippled me. And then you now, when things go wrong, like you saw they were going to go wrong, you have to do, as you say, double the work to now fix what could have been prevented. So I think Toastmasters gave me the platform or the safe space where I could explore. I started coming out of my shell a bit more. I started out trying new things a bit more. One of the things I started was being a club officer. So it's an executive of the club who helps run the club. So I'd come in to be a better public speaker, but now I had an opportunity to run the club.
So you were actively participating as a Toastmaster, but also in the running of the club that you were affiliated to.
Yes. So I came in just to, be part of the curriculum, learn, but now I was helping behind the scenes, prepare the program, ensure that there's a venue and, that part. And that's how leadership got unlocked in terms of my journey. I think I realized how when you serve others, you can actually grow, and how when you are intentional about where you want to be. In my case, then I became intentional about breaking out of my shell and trying things I had not tried. One of the events I tried, we call it Fill Up the Crescent. The venue that we used, which was a 200-seater auditorium, was the Crescent. So one of the defining projects was when I dared to invite so many people to attend that event. And it happened. And what that taught me is whatever I put my mind into, if I truly believe in myself, I can do it. But I can also talk to other people and ask for help, which was very unnatural for me at the time.
But that completely changed your life. Because then you were shy, but you also have the courage. You said you're an introvert, but you also have the courage to go out there and ask people for help. That's also a big step when you ask for help, because then you have to beat that introvertedness and also accept that you need help from other people. Some people do not. It's like, I can do it all.
Yeah.
But we can't do that.
No.
We're all interconnected. Before we continue about the leadership, I would like to invite the viewers to watch a small report on effective communication, not necessarily about Toastmasters, but how effective communication helps you in different spheres of your life, how long it's been around, and how Toastmaster plays a big role in society, because Toastmasters is the biggest group in the world who dedicates itself to public speaking. So let's have a look at the report. The study of public speaking began about 2,500 years ago in ancient Athens. Men were required to give speeches as part of their civic duties, which included speaking in legislative assembly and at court, sometimes to defend themselves, as there were no lawyers for the average Athenian. Citizens would meet in the marketplace and debate issues on war, economics, and politics. Good speaking skills were also essential for a prominent social life and mixing with the wealthy. Public speaking is an essential life skill in the modern world, full of meetings, conferences, and networking events. So what is public speaking? It is the act of performing a speech to a live audience in a structured manner in order to inform, entertain, and persuade them. There are many aspects to public speaking, from picking a topic and writing a speech to answering questions from the audience. Public speaking is usually a formal face-to-face speech to either a single person or a group of listeners. There are 5 basic elements of public speaking: communicator, message, medium, audience, effect. Public speaking can serve the purpose of transmitting information, telling a story, motivating people to act, or some combination of those. Public speaking plays a large role in the professional world. It is believed that 70% of all jobs involve some form of public speaking. Welcome back. You're still watching Encounter. So we just had a look at the report. How did this again change your life? You mentioned professionally that it helped you come out and speak better towards your colleagues, but how has this affected the way your colleagues perceive you? And this is not only professionally, it could also be a student, it could also be an uncle, it could also be in a family situation. It's also important how we put across, and it's also how we are perceived. So I'm very curious to know what happened in your case.
Very interesting one. I think in a nutshell, it improved trust. People could trust me more because I spoke my mind a bit more. But at Toastmasters, we learn the ability to give feedback, and we're taught the sandwich approach. So give me 3 things that worked, and give me 2 areas of recommendation, and finally give me 1 thing that you enjoyed the most. I started applying that technique when giving feedback to my colleagues.
Can you repeat that again? So I'm sure the viewers would want to know that.
So, cool. So the sandwich approach.
Sandwich approach.
Okay. So think about a hamburger. So if you think of the sandwich, it has the outer part, which then you start off by sharing 3 things that the person did very well.
Okay.
And then the party in the middle of the sandwich.
The good part.
The good part. And those are the areas of improvement. So you share with the person 2 things that they could improve on. And then last, the good thing. It's the good thing. The good thing. So it's the ban again in terms of what did you do well. So 3 good things that they did, 2 things they can work on and improve, and finally, 1 of the great things that they do well. So that at the end of your presentation or your feedback, they feel inspired to speak again. And that's really the sandwich approach. So I started applying this at work. When we're at a project meeting, I said, this is going well, this is going well, this is going well. I suggest we change this, we change that. Finally, I think the project is on time because of this. And just that, the way I was giving feedback in a structured manner allowed my colleagues to trust me a bit more. So whenever they were seeking for advice or needing a bit of clarity or direction, they would come to me. Earlier on, we spoke about active listening. When they spoke to me, I wasn't thinking about what am I going to say again. I was focusing on what are they saying, being present at the moment. And so people felt comfortable talking to me. And in terms of interpersonal relationships, if you want to grow in life, and in my case, climb the corporate ladder, it's important to create those trust relationships so that people can trust you with the next opportunity and they know you'll represent them well. And that's what was a game changer for me. Toastmasters taught me to get out of my comfort zone because learning actually happens out of the comfort zone. And the growth has been exponential from there onwards.
And that's how you become CEO.
And that's how I became head of learning within my business unit, and also became CEO of Toastmasters because I was more daring. I believed in myself more. I think the confidence that I got from that, because the small victories build on, and eventually you just become a force to be reckoned with because you've seen how you've grown throughout this time. So that's really what changed.
Would you recommend everyone to have a go at public speaking?
I definitely believe whether you are an entrepreneur, you need public speaking because you need to be able to talk to investors, but you need to be able to sell your product. Whether you're in corporate, you need to be able to sell your ideas, your value propositions to the team. Whether you are at home, maybe you are, you mind your family, the ability to articulate and communicate with your family, with friends, being able to articulate your thoughts in a structured manner, in a succinct way, is an important skill. So I think public speaking and the ability to communicate your thoughts is critical across all spheres of life. I've seen, and Forbes actually says, if you look at 2 people with the same technical skills, one with better interpersonal skills, the one with better interpersonal skills will do better in life. Therefore, it is critical. It's a game changer, being able to articulate your thoughts in any sphere of life.
All right, allow me to share a story on this. I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. They tell you that you can be the world's best writer, but you're not good at communication. You will never have a #1 bookseller. You can be an average writer, but if you're a very good salesman, you will most probably end up having a #1 bestseller. The reason, because if you're able to communicate what has been your journey, what you went through, why the book is out there, people will connect more to your experience rather than someone who's just putting a book out there. And in all spheres of life, I have to speak about your personal life. Your entourage with your family has improved since you discovered public speaking Toastmasters.
What Toastmasters also teaches you is empathy. You can never judge a person whose shoes you haven't walked in. And that ability to be able to apply empathy whenever you engage with people is a critical one. And I gained that through Toastmasters.
So the ability to trust people increases the level of empathy.
Yes.
Before closing this interview, I would like to ask you, can you make a summary of what are the qualities that you think that you have been able to develop as you have discovered public speaking?
So without a doubt, public speaking itself, I've become a public speaker, a better public speaker.
A better salesman?
A better salesman. Since I joined Toastmasters, I'm able to sell my brand a bit more. I'm able to communicate with other people a bit more. I think interpersonal skills, and one of those skills that are critical in terms of interpersonal skills is active listening. Just being able to be present and listen to other people. The ability to give feedback, it really makes a great difference in terms of interpersonal skills. But on the journey, I've also learned leadership. And leadership is about being able to uplift others and empower them so that they can be better versions of themselves. Along the journey, you have to manage, so there's KPIs that you have to meet. So you also learn management. And overall, when you improve those skill sets, one thing that becomes very clear is confidence. You become a more confident version of yourself. And when you are more confident, you are able to achieve so much more. Irrespective of what the goal is, you are able to focus on it, target it, and then you're able to achieve it. And that's what Toastmasters has done for me.
Did you have any final words?
I think what I would like to share with you is that anybody who has a dream, you can become whatever you want to be. All it needs is getting that courage to take the first step. In my case, it was the ability to learn to articulate myself, and I found a program that does that. For a different person, it might be maybe they want to be in IT, maybe they want to be in accounting, but it starts with the first step and being able to have the courage to take the first step. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for sharing your insight. And all the best as CEO of Toastmaster for Southern Africa. I'm sure there are many projects upcoming, and I hope you will come to Mauritius again. And hopefully, the next champion will be from Mauritius.
Yes, I think that will be the one day I will celebrate. Thank you so much for hosting me, and may you continue touching lives through this awesome encounter.
Oh, fantastic. We're a platform to help people present how they're helping society become a better place. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this episode. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have. If you have any questions or queries on the guest or on the topic that was discussed, drop an email. It's encounter@mbc.itnet.mu. Until the very next program, goodbye.